My mom abandoned me. At 7 and now her husband wants my inheritance. I was 7 years old when my mom walked out. No warning, no explanation. I came home from school one Tuesday and she was just gone. My dad was sitting at the kitchen table staring at a note. All it said was, "I can't do this anymore." She left her wedding ring on the counter and took nothing else. For years, I wondered what I did wrong. My dad raised me by himself after that. He worked 2 jobs to keep our apartment, made sure I had clean clothes for school, helped with homework even when he was exhausted. We didn't have much money, but we had each other. When other kids talked about their moms, I'd just change the subject. My mom never called, never sent birthday cards, never tried to contact me once. It was like I stopped existing to her the day she walked out that door. Dad never badmouthed her though. He'd just say people make choices and we have to respect them even when they hurt. I spent my whole childhood feeling abandoned and unwanted. Fast forward 15 years. I'm 22, just graduated college with my engineering degree. My dad's health had been getting worse, and last April he passed away from a heart attack. Losing him destroyed me. He was my only family, my best friend, everything. At the funeral, I was standing alone by his casket when this woman walked up. She was older now, gray hair, different clothes, but I recognized her immediately. My mom. She had the nerve to show up after 15 years of silence. She didn't hug me, didn't apologize, just said she heard about dad and wanted to pay respects. I told her to leave. She tried to grab my arm and I pulled away. Told her she lost the right to be here when she abandoned a 7-year-old kid. She left without arguing. I thought that was the end of it. 2 weeks later, I met with dad's lawyer to handle the estate. Turns out my dad had been saving money for years. He had a life insurance policy worth $300,000, plus the house was paid off and worth about $200,000. Everything was left to me in his will. I had no idea dad had that much. He always acted like we were barely scraping by. The lawyer explained that dad lived frugally his entire life to make sure I'd be taken care of after he was gone. I cried right there in the lawyer's office. Even after death, my dad was still protecting me. Then last month, I got a certified letter in the mail. It was from a lawyer representing my mother and her husband, some guy named Richard. They were contesting the will, claiming that as dad's ex-wife, my mom had legal rights to part of the estate. The letter said I was being unfair keeping everything when she helped build that life too. I couldn't believe what I was reading. She left 15 years ago, never paid child support, never called to check if I was alive, and now she wanted money? I called the number on the letter and this Richard guy answered. He didn't even pretend to be polite. Started talking about how my mom suffered too, how divorce is hard on everyone, how I should be mature enough to share. I asked him straight up, where were you when I was learning to ride a bike without a mom? Where were you when I had to figure out how to shave because dad worked nights? He went quiet for a second, then said those were emotional arguments and this was about legal rights. That's when I lost it. I told him my mom had no legal rights to anything because she walked away from her legal responsibilities 15 years ago. She chose to be a stranger. Richard tried to guilt trip me, said they were struggling financially, that my mom had medical bills, that I was young and could rebuild wealth. Classic manipulation. He actually said I should honor my mother regardless of the past. I hung up on him. My lawyer reviewed everything and confirmed they had zero case. My mom willingly abandoned her parental rights, never fought for custody, never paid support. The will was ironclad, but Richard kept calling, left voicemails about family and forgiveness. My mom even showed up at my apartment once crying about how sorry she was and how much she needed help. I recorded that conversation on my phone. She admitted she left because being a mom was too hard, said she was young and scared and made a mistake. Then in the same breath asked if we could work out a payment plan for part of the inheritance. I told her the only mistake was her showing up now expecting anything. My dad spent 15 years being both parents. This money represented every sacrifice he made, every extra shift he worked, every time he went without so I could have something. She wasn't getting a single dollar. Richard threatened to sue anyway. Said they'd drag this out in court and make it expensive for me. My lawyer sent them a letter explaining that if they filed a frivolous lawsuit, we'd countersue for legal fees and harassment. That finally shut them up. I haven't heard from them in 2 months. I used some of the inheritance to pay off my student loans. Put the rest in investments like dad would have wanted. Sometimes I drive past the old apartment where dad raised me and think about how he deserved so much better than what life gave him. But he never complained, just loved me and made sure I'd be okay. That's real family right there.